Happy Lamas. Salut. I am the Rasta Witch. Here's where we learn the way of the Yan Sui Rasta, which is to say, my kind of Ital. Please subscribe and begin your own kind of Yan Sui witchcraft. All roads lead to Rome. Home. Okay, just kidding, it's a pen. I think that's funny. You have jokes that you think are funny that aren't right. I certainly do. You heard about the three men that ran into the bar? Two of them are all right. They ducked. You know why jaw made butt cracks go this way instead of this way, right? So when you trip and fall, it doesn't sound like this. You go and such. Okay, so this is about politics, politicking, politics, like the Rosses call it. So what nowadays people, they want to know where, at least a little bit about your political background, before they can decide if they can listen to you or like you, because they're a bunch of snobs. Do you know the difference between what a free thinker is and a snob? They're polar opposites. A free thinker is someone that doesn't decide they know something from one source, but listens to many sources, before they just form an opinion, and they do it all by themselves, independent of anyone else. A snob is someone that can't form any opinions about anything. They like if they're like all there's this new sport out called shuffle beach ball. Do you like it? But they don't know what to answer. They have to run home and Google it. What do people that I think is cool think about it? Oh, people that all my friends and everything thinks is cool. And then the next day they say, yeah, I think it's a cool sport. They can't. That's a snob. So a snob and a free thinker are polar opposites. I'm a free thinker. I'm not really on anyone's side politically. For most of my adult life, I've agreed with Mr. Armstrong that politics is it's an attempt to make believe, kind of like, make believing you can fly, or make believing you can jump 10 or 15 feet in the air, It's kind of like make believing that politicians can fix our problems. It's just to me, it's just as ridiculous as that, because you guys are probably younger than me. I've been around for over 5 decades now, and I've my consistent thing is I've cared about the environment and animals, and I've seen countless presidents and educating the youth, and I've heard countless presidents make it sound like our LGBT people, that like originally Trump said that he loves transgender people and he loves LGBT people. I saw right through that. By the time I got to Trump, I was old enough that I could see. I was like, yeah, right. Politicians don't help with things like that, But yeah, so like growing up with the Mormon parents and their conservative Republican fundamentalist conventional Mormons, they taught me originally that they would say, whenever I'd ask, well, what's better, Republican or Democrat? They'd say, well, Democrats believe that everything should be ran by the government, so you don't have any freedoms, and Republicans believe that you should empower corporations, so that the corporations will just, which are individual people and not government, will be the ones that have more power, so that's why you should be a Republican. And so I was like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I wouldn't want an evil dictatorship government to take over. And I didn't know much about free thinking, until more like age 17, 18, 19, but that's when I first started this realizing about things like that, about the power of free thinking, and how my parents are just people, they're not deities, and like in that sense, they should believe everything they say. So I've lived most of my life not voting, and then people would just beg me, and I'd hear other LGBT people, especially transgender people, saying, "Please vote. You gotta vote." It's just you have to vote, and then like Trump, the Republicans just, they're just like, they're vote for me and I'll make it so all transgender people die, and like, it's like, those kind of moments. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess if I don't care about politics, I might as well vote anyway to help the people that at least don't want to kill us or not let us get jobs or some of these extreme things. And that's kind of where I am with politics. I'm just like, oh well, like that. But what I really think, so basically, I'm definitely on the left side, at this point, because like what it seems like to me is, before there was more of a question, which side are you, but nowadays it's like the only reason you'd be on the right hand side is if you were taught to be that way by your religion or your group, or that's what you've always believed, and you haven't been enough of a free thinker to question anything. For just bad, like, you don't ever, I haven't heard right wingers say anything that has anything to do with reality. It's kind of like the truth doesn't care about your feelings, and like everything they decide is all about their feelings, what they feel like the truth should be, not what the truth really is, and what evidence shows or science shows. Most of them believe science is evil and disagree with it. It's like, wow, dude. Yeah, that's just like, I'm not like those people. How scary. Trump wanted to. There was like a hurricane, and his idea was to put a nuclear weapon. He's the guy in control of the button for the nuclear weapons, and his idea was to put a nuclear weapon in the hurricane. It's like, wow, that's a big deal. That's like a whole different level of stupid. That's just like alarming as hell, And like his idea with what to do for the COVID was to inject cleanser or whatever it was, bleach or something like that, into our veins, and then clean us. Just like, if you can clean the kitchen top, you ought to be able to clean your veins. It's like, wow, that's just like, Trump really pushed me over the edge. So now I'm just like, yeah, it's not that I'm left or right, but I'll just go with left just because that's the other side of the right, Woo! Damn. So anyway, it's a pen. What are you talking about? But anyway, so the bigger picture on that is that, like, it's the problem, that the bad thing about America right now. It's not, they're like, oh, it's all because of the left, or it's all because of the right. It's all because of the left and the right. It's like, how can it be all about the left and the right? Well, if you went around and you asked the left, if like the things that really matter, transgender people using the bathroom and having gender reaffirmation surgery, and the surgeries and the hormones, and the things that the right wingers say important. Do any of those things matter? None of them. What is a woman? Can you answer what is a woman? It's like, oh, who cares? What, like, you gotta look through it, like they're revealing who they are, like why would it matter what you say a woman is? It's not about what a woman is. It's about letting people do with their lives what they want. It's all, that's all arbitrary. The things they say, well, a man and a woman, it's sacred, and Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. It's sacred. Sacred. That's arbitrary. Nothing's sacred. Nothing is sacred. The word sacred doesn't have any real meaning. It has an arbitrary meaning. It doesn't mean anything. some people say good and evil doesn't mean anything. Good and evil does mean something. There is good and there is evil, because, like, for example, people that shoot children in schools, if that's not evil, then you're mentally ill. That's evil, and people that love people and serve people and think of other people's needs and forgive people and things like that, that's good. There is good and evil, but there's not sacred and not sacred. They're sacred to you. That's sacred to me. Now you've used the word appropriately, but say it's one and all, everyone. It's sacred to a man and a woman and what a woman is, and like how transgender people aren't taking anything away from men and women, cis men and cis women. Transgendered people aren't taking anything away from cisgender people. For one thing, we're like 1% of the population, or we're just an insignificant amount. If you give all transgender people mansions, it'll just be a shave off the money that you guys have. Just the smallest little shave off the money you have. It's just like none of it is significant. What matters is global warming, animals. When you're like, all transgender people, what is a woman? What is a woman? See, do you believe it? You think that women can have penises? Why would anyone want to vote for you when you believe women should have penises? That's who you're voting for, everyone. And then they go home and they eat a sports bar that has palm oil in it. And you say, you're eating a sports bar that has palm oil in it. And they're like, oh, so what? That doesn't matter. What does that have to do with transgender people? Or what does that have to do with, like this and that? Wrong. The orangutans are endangered, and when they cut down trees that orangutans need to make palm oil. That's why you eat, Built bars and the orange kind of Quest cookie, and you look at the ingredients and you don't buy the tortilla chips or any of the things that have palm oil in it. That's what matters, not whether women can have penises and these things. That's what really matters. Not if there's palm oil in your sports bar, but if you believe a woman can have a penis, that's what matters. It's like, oh, what the hell? Or they're like, oh, I gotta go to the 7-Eleven to buy me a soda pop, 2 blocks away, back home, and then meanwhile there's global warming. The polar bears are like, there's no, the ice caps all melting and all this stuff, and it's like, oh, why are you driving 2 blocks away when you could walk? What does that have to do with transgender people using the bathroom the wrong way? You say the transgender, no, wrong. You're the one that's an idiot. What does that have to do with global warming? What does that have to do with endangered species? What does that have to do with what to do about the poor people and the unemployment? What does that have to do with helping educate children? You like, how is war? What good comes from war? Self-defense, yeah, but fuck war. Just let the UN handle all the international. Why does America we're rich and have the best army, therefore we should get involved in every little matter that happens internationally? No, wrong. What the hell? Let the UN take that. If you want to help, then let's give some of our troops to the UN and help the UN out. Do things through the right line of authority. Americans going around helping with international matters is the wrong line of authority. We don't have the authority to do. Who the fuck do we think we are to go around helping people internationally? Do it through the UN. Quit being such a dumbass. That's what I think about politicians and their stupid, dumbass ideas. Trickle down. If you help the people that's rich, you'll be helping the people that's not rich. It's like, why do the people that's rich need help? They're already rich. And why would they know how to help the poor people? Listen to them. They're all, poor people don't really want jobs. It's like, what the hell? Does anything you believe in is any of it based on reality? You know, and everybody's like, oh, whether you're the right or the left, you're the left winger, everything's your fault. Potato chips with palm oil, sports bars with palm oil, driving my car around everywhere, gasoline, gasoline, gasoline. And it's like, what the fuck? Dude, politicians are shit. They don't make any difference at all. It's stupid. It's just all politics is should we let the evil dictator tell everyone they have to be Christian, like Christo-fascism, forcing everybody to Ten Commandments, pray in school, take it back to praying in school, you know? Let's all bow down to a fictional fucking character in the sky and believe that a book of fables and fiction is the word of that man in the sky and run our country accordingly. Because we never noticed that the Bible's how it was written, who wrote it, or anything historically about it. And we just make believe it's all historically accurate. You know, so there, vote for me and we'll make sure everybody knows what's accurate and what's not accurate. You know, fuck politicians.